Hi, and a very warm welcome to day 5 of our laid-back yin yoga with somatics challenge. My name is Gaia, and in this challenge, we are combining yin yoga with somatics because these two work just so well together. No props are required, as always, in this challenge. And if you have just stumbled across this video, it's perfectly fine. You can just do this class. But if you would like to go through the entire 7 days, I will link everything down below and also probably up here somewhere for you to grab. All right, so today we will begin lying down on our backs. So just make your way onto your back. Your knees are facing the ceiling. Your feet are hip distance apart. And bring your hands down by your sides with the palms facing down. If you have done this challenge from the start, this will be familiar to you. If not, no worries. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to do some knee sways. So really, all you do is just bring your knees a little bit over to the right, and then a little bit over to your left. The movement doesn't have to be big as you go over to the right. Maybe take a breath here and then over to the left. So just keep gently swaying your knees side to side here. Make sure that your body is really relaxed as you're doing these movements, so no tension in your shoulders. You don't have to clench your belly at all here. Just let it be relaxed. And this really feels like a low back massage. Just gentle sways of your knees from left to right. And we're going to do the movement now really tiny, so just an inch or around 2 centimeters, a little bit more to your right. And again, the same tiny movement to your left. Again, small to the right, small to the left. And just make note of how this feels in your body. Again, to the right and over to your left. And now make it a bit bigger. So just take your knees a bit further out to the right. Again, don't go to the end of your range. Don't even go to the mid of your range here. These movements in somatics are meant to be small. We're just sort of seeing what feels best in our bodies today, because it might change depending on how you feel each day. Maybe the smaller ones are better, or the larger ones feel good. Just keep swaying those knees. Let's do 2 more on each side, in whichever size feels best for you today. And last 2. And bring the movement to a pause. And come into your reclined butterfly, so feet together, knees apart. You can keep the arms down by your side the same way they were in the somatic knee sways. Maybe you want to flip the palms open so that they are facing the ceiling. Or maybe you want to rest your hands on your body, just choosing what works best for you today, what your body wants, what it needs. Just listen and you will get all the answers that you need. And then just settle into your butterfly. Breathe nice and deep all the way down into your belly and enjoy a few moments here in stillness, in silence, just being with yourself. Gently begin to deepen your breath. And with the help of your hands, return your knees so that they are facing the ceiling. Just take a moment here. We're going to move into a sleeping swan, but before we do that, we're going to incorporate another lovely somatic movement. So first begin by making this movement from your left hip. Lift the left leg off your mat and then hook it at the bottom of your right knee. Sorry, the top of your right knee, the bottom of your right thigh. Flex your left foot and make sure that this knee is moving away from you so that you're not collapsing inward towards your midline, but really opening up to the side. It doesn't matter how far out your knee goes here. Just work with your natural range, so it doesn't matter if this is tiny. Just work with what is available to you. And once you get nicely settled here, bring your arms down by your side. You can widen them a tiny bit, not too much, a little bit. And we're just going to take this whole shape over to our right. Now to begin with, just really make this movement small. So just carrying this a little bit over to your right. Your left side body will lift off and bring it back. And again, shifting the whole shape over to your right and come back. And shifting the shape over to the right, maybe going a tiny bit deeper here. And bring it back. Moving over to your right. Nicely, gently shifting this entire shape. And again, shifting over to your right. And coming back up. Let's do 3 more in your own time. And last one. Coming back. Now just thread your arms. Bring the right leg in into your sleeping swan. You can grab yourself behind the thigh or around the shin. Just work with what is available to you here. Make sure that there isn't too much tension going on in your neck or shoulders. We are using some arm strength here, but try to be as relaxed as possible, really grounding with your back against your mat. And we'll hold this for around a minute or so, really getting super deep into our hips, which is a very lovely way of releasing any potential tension that might have stored there throughout our days. So just breathe nice and deep and enjoy this. Maybe give your leg one more good squeeze in towards yourself, and then gently release your right foot onto the mat. Unhook your left leg and bring the left foot onto your mat. Take a moment here. You can wiggle around a bit, take a breath or two. And we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. So this time we are making the movement from our right hip, lifting the right leg up into the air and then hooking our ankle at the bottom of the left thigh, top of the left knee. Flex your right foot. Make sure that the knee is moving away from you. Again, the size of this doesn't really matter as long as you keep the intention of the knee moving out so that you're creating some external rotation here in your hip. And then place your arms down by your side with the palms facing down. And we're going to take this entire shape over to the left, again, starting small. It's just a little bit over to your left and back to your midline. And again, bring it a little bit over to your left, back to your midline. Gently shifting everything over to your left, maybe going a tiny bit deeper, rolling on the outer edge of our foot. And back. And again, rolling over to your left. And back. 4 more. Last 2 in your own pace. Last 1. And come back to center. I see my sweet boy Merkaba made an appearance. Came to give some kisses. Now we're just going to move into our sleeping swan on the other side. So thread your arms through, grab a hold of yourself by the shin or behind your thigh. Really just work with what works for you. Again, keep in mind that we want the shoulders to be relaxed, even though we are using some arm strength here. Just try to invite as much ease and relaxation into your body as you possibly can here. And again, we'll hang out in our sleeping swan for around a minute or so. So just get nicely settled in this pose and breathe deep, enjoying this beautiful, beautiful pose that does so much good for our hips. And give your leg one more good squeeze in close to your chest. And gently release, bringing the left foot onto the mat and then unhooking the right and placing that down as well. I'm going to do one more somatic movement before we enter Shavasana. So make sure that your feet are still hip distance apart, your knees are facing the ceiling, and bring your arms down by your side with the palms facing down. We're going to do pelvic tilts. Now we have already done this in this challenge, but we have done it seating, and now we're going to do this lying down. So first, just really settle against your mat. And then see if you can roll your tailbone up towards the ceiling. So curling in towards yourself, and then curling down towards your heels. I'm going to exaggerate the movement right now so that again you can see better if this is perhaps challenging for you. It's almost as if creating a cat motion or moving into your bridge pose. So we are really rolling the tailbone up towards the ceiling, and then almost as if we were arching through our back. I'm just gonna lift my arms so that you can see better. Almost as if we were arching through our back, we are rolling it down. So this is an exaggerated, a deeply exaggerated version of the movement, because sometimes I find that seeing something makes it easier to do. Again, I'm gonna remove my arm here just so that you can see. We're really just rolling on our sacrum, rolling and rolling down here. Not really engaging our core muscles as much. Of course, when you roll up, you will engage them slightly, but we are trying to be as relaxed as possible as we're doing these pelvic tilts. It should really feel like a nice low back massage. And you will find that your body will move a little bit as you do the tilts. But really try to get all of your attention just on the shifts of your pelvis, on your sacrum, so on your low back. Just imagining that the tailbone is curling in different directions as we keep going with this motion. I really like to incorporate this in my yoga practice because it just releases the low back so much. It's very easy to do. It can be such a nice transition between two poses, just taking a few seconds to do the pelvic tilts. So I do encourage you to include them in your own practice. And now before we bring this movement to a pause, let's just play around with the size. Let's see if we can make it super tiny. It does require a bit more attention and a bit more precision. Let's just do 3 more tilts total. And when you're ready, bring the movement to a pause, settle against the mat, and then extend your legs long for Shavasana. You can flip the palms up, opening to the universe, really surrendering and allowing your body to sink against the mat. Invite some length into the back of your neck. Just give yourself this beautiful time and space to integrate the practice today, to relax and to enjoy yourself for a bit more. You are more than welcome to stay in Shavasana for longer if that's what your body needs right now. But if you're ready to come out, begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. You can take a nice deep stretch if that feels good. And then just roll onto your side first. Staying here for a breath before using your arms to press yourself back up into a seat. Come into Sukhasana, your easy seat. Place your hands together at the heart in Anjali Mudra. And again, we are closing our practice by finding 3 winners. 3 things that have transpired today in your daily life, in your internal world, external world. It doesn't matter. Just choose 3 things that come to mind that you can be proud of, grateful for, appreciate, or celebrate. Just pick 3 things that feel like winners to you today. I'm going to give you a few moments to connect with your 3 things and the emotions that they bring up. And I want to thank you so much for joining me on the mat today, for doing this challenge or just this class. It's so wonderful to have you here, and I do hope that we see each other again tomorrow. Thank you.